let's talk about what your rejected leads can tell you and teach you about your marketing. So as businesses, we'll typically take all rejected leads and just mark them as not qualified, right, and move on. But that is a wasted opportunity for us. Like, while we're thinking of this as a wasted opportunity or wasted time, we might be wasting an opportunity to take that lead, use that data that it's actually giving us, and inform next steps when shifting language around our marketing or our marketing efforts, right? So we don't want to group every single rejected lead as not a good fit or not qualified, because that reason matters. So let's talk about how we can take this information, what information we need to gather, and how that can help us get better qualified leads through the door. So we want to review the last 20 to 30 leads that we had that were not a good fit or didn't move forward to the next step. So the common categories that we want to look at can include some of these, right? This is not an exhaustive list, but these are just some ideas, right? And some things to potentially look for. So one of them might be that the service that the company or the lead is looking for is not something that your company provides, right? It might be close, it might be a little bit adjacent. Sometimes it could be way out of left field, but the service that they're looking for is not something that you offer. The budget, there's a misalignment there on the budget, right? Like, it might be that they're looking for something that is a bit of a smaller ask, or it's a smaller deliverable, smaller budget. And also it can be the other way around, right? They may be looking for something a bigger, not necessarily they're looking for a bigger ticket offer, but they're looking for a bigger exchange, right? It might be that it's the wrong industry and maybe geographic location. Something else could be they're too early in the buying decision, or the person that you're talking to doesn't actually have that buying power. They're not the one who's making that next step decision. So let's talk about some of these examples and some scenarios and how they play out and what information we can gather from them. So wrong service, right? So someone is reaching out, they're getting through to the next step, and they're having that sales call with you, whatever that might look like, and it's not actually something that you do, right? It might be close, it might be adjacent, it might be way out in left field, like I said, but it's something that you're not actually, like the marketing or like the efforts that you were making to get this lead through the door, there's a misalignment as it relates to your service. So this can be something that needs to be controlled on, like the language around your offer, right? So maybe it's confusing, maybe it's not clear, maybe there's too much gray area, maybe you're speaking too much to the benefits or the outcomes, and not necessarily like the actual nuts and bolts of what's being done or what the service actually is. Let's talk about if a lead comes through the door and there's an unrealistic budget. So this is something where you need stronger qualification cues in your marketing efforts and your website, wherever these people are interacting with your business and your marketing materials, right? That there's stronger cues there. There's better proof or clearer expectations. So a good example of this could be if you have a client logo reel on your website, right? So if I have big name like Fortune 500 companies as, these are the types of clients that I work with. If I'm a small mom and pop and I see that, I'm like, maybe not a right fit for me. But alternatively, if you do work with mom and pops and you put there like proudly supporting mom and pops across America, and you have a logo of all of these businesses that your potential customer or the person who's viewing your website has no idea who they are because they're mom and pops, right? It's kind of a local business thing, right? So then they get that cue of, this is actually someone who can work with me. Therefore, the budget's probably aligned, right? Because the budget between a small mom and pop and a huge Fortune 500 company, right? Totally different scenarios. So that could be an example of those cues, like letting people know and kind of self identifying whether they're a good fit or not, right? And that kind of translates into budget alignment, right? So maybe another example is they're a strong fit, but they're not ready yet, right? And so this is not necessarily a bad thing, right? This is something that can be remedied, or that gives you an opportunity to create a really nice, cozy holding place for those people who are warm, but they're not ready to take action, right? So that you might need some sort of like nurturing strategy here. So rather than immediate sales pressure, something that can keep them warm, keep them engaged until they are ready to make that next step. So all this to say, a bad lead is not always evidence of failed campaign, failed marketing efforts, failed language around your services, right? One isolated poor fit inquiry, it means very little, but when you take them and you put them all together and you look at them and you get to see the whole picture, you can see patterns developing, right? So that's what we want to do. So I want you to figure out those patterns and see how you can improve the quality of your leads by taking that information that they're giving you, adjusting some of your marketing language, how you're showing up, what you're saying, how you're saying it, right? To make sure that you're getting that information across to more qualified leads. So what I want you to do is I want you to create a spreadsheet, and we're going to get all the information that we need from the last 20 to 30 leads in your lead rejection report, right? So we want the reason the lead did not progress. If this is something that you're not already asking people who are declining to work with you or move forward, you need to add that to your process. The source of the lead. So are they coming from an ad campaign? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from word of mouth, right? All of those might have a little bit more information in where they are in their buying process. Someone who is referred to you by a trusted source, like a referral, word of mouth referral, they might feel a little bit comfortable or cozy taking that next step because they have this outside force, this trusted outside force, right, pushing you along, versus someone who might be Googling, like looking for this service or industry, service provider in that area, right? So making sure that we're documenting that source of the lead. The service requested, again, if it's something you offer, if it's it's not something you offer. We want to make sure that we're tracking all of that, right? Because if you're like, man, this is crazy, all these people keep asking me for this service and I don't even offer anything close to that, something is out there that's signaling to these people who are repeatedly asking for the service you don't offer that's making them think that, right? And so we can find that misalignment, tweak it. So location and business type, right? Making sure that if geographic location is important, if the industry, the type of business is important, making sure that we're tracking all of that. And then the fit issue, right? Was it timing? Was it budget? Was it the authority figure, whoever was making that buying decision, were they part of that sales call? So all of this, you want to take that and you want to make sure that if there is any marketing adjustment, that you're assigning that to that specific rejected lead or lead that, you know, didn't follow through. So all of this is going to give you really great data. We want to take these leads that did not move forward, and they're going to help show us that next step in your marketing so that you can speak exactly to those qualified leads. So you're getting those through the door and you're getting better quality leads and moving forward.